fucking scoot back a little so I guess so I don't punch the microphone. Hey, come listen to our podcast, yeah. Please listen, it's a hitch. If you don't listen to our podcast, yeah, then you are a bitch. Maybe that one. Welcome to Filmoscopy Podcast, the show where three friends discuss the movie where one of them chooses it and then the other two are forced to watch it. I am the host for today. It's Owen. With me are my two guests, Lance.
Hello.
And Cody.
Hello. And guest. We're here all the time.
Sorry, my other two hosts. I don't know how the fuck this show works, dude.
I've only been doing it for
Owen has
almost
done,
4 years now.
He's outed himself as somebody has a secret podcast, and we're actually his guests, and the other ones are his real hosts. So it's like,
yeah,
fuck, man.
I'm recording a secret secondary podcast that's just Filmoscopy. But it's only the episodes I host.
I would be kind of offended and hurt if you did and didn't tell us, but I know you don't because you barely have the drive to do this podcast. So you don't have the drive to do that.
Yeah, I guess you're
right. It's like even the episode, like Owen's episode, which is today. I'll send a group text on Friday evening. We're ready to record tomorrow, right, guys? And Cody goes, yeah. And then nothing from Owen. I'll even send a text like, hey, this person looks like so-and-so in the movie. I don't ever get a response, but Cody will say, man, this shit's real boring or some shit like that in the morning. And then Owen will respond around noon. This is the first time we've heard from Owen in almost 2 weeks. You know, this is how it works. Like,
good.
Let me just make
I
sure.
responded.
No, we talked about Killer Clowns from Outer Space the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's when I ghosted you guys. So.
Yeah, see? That shit's important. By the way, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the video game, is coming when? When is that?
I think May 28th if you pre-order it, or June 6th if you don't.
Yeah, that's the official Filmoscopy Podcast video game and movie.
Look, to be quite honest with you, I'm sure you guys could figure out a way to stream on the YouTube channel. Like, if you guys were to play it. Like, that would be kind of fucking cool, ain't gonna lie to you.
It's cross-platform. We all three have to play.
I'm not buying the game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll sit
to be a member of this podcast, to listen to this podcast, to be involved in this podcast in any way, you have to buy Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Nope. I don't think so. No, look, I will join on the little Discord video chat with you guys just to watch you guys play. But I'm like, this thing ain't my gig.
I don't even know what it is. It's like one of those it's survival.
It's an asymmetric horror game, a multiplayer game. It's very similar to something like Friday the 13th, where you have,
or like Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, but I would more specifically Friday the 13th with the way the mechanics work, like because a lot of the escape methods for each match for the survivors is similar. Like, you know, there's a boat you can escape on, and there's other methods similar to that. Whereas Dead by Daylight's like, oh yeah, start these generators up and all that stuff. And but
every time I see gameplay of those games, it's always like just people trolling people and like, you know, like camping them, I guess, when they put them on the thing or whatever. Like, I don't know. It always seems like a negative experience every time I watch gameplay.
Well, it's funny. Like, me and Cody actually played, was it last week, Cody?
Yeah, last weekend.
Yeah, we played last weekend. I mean, he was free from the chains of the dungeon. And he was like, hey, you want to play Friday the 13th? I'm like, well, fuck yeah, man. I hadn't played Friday the 13th forever. And I suck at it. So we took turns, and it was just like, the only bad part is when you play just one person, you have Jason and one counselor. So it ends quickly, but you're just chasing that one fucker around. And we played, I want to say like 9 or 10 rounds, and I won like 4-2, which is pretty sweet. And then I actually ended up playing with my girlfriend's son, Riley. He had never played the game, so I hooked up my PlayStation 4 downstairs. with the TV because I had also bought the Crash Bandicoot trilogy collection they released in 2018 and downloaded it on PS5. I'm like, I could download this on PS4 also and let him play. We played Friday the 13th, which is cool. I mean, the mechanics, if it's anything similar, it's cool. Hopefully, they got kind of like a story narrative that goes along with it.
Yeah, I'm
kind
not
of like
sure.
the RoboCop game that came out.
I'm not sure about like stories and stuff. Like I said, it's similar. One thing that the survivors can do that you couldn't do in Friday the 13th is you can actually like kill the clowns, which is
What?
it's movie accurate, right? Like you have to like stun them and then like either stab them or shoot them in the nose. Uh, but then the clowns, like whoever's playing as the clowns, they can respawn, but you know at least removes them from the match temporarily. Uh, but yeah, I mean it looks fun, and like I said, it's very much like Friday the 13th, but with killer clowns instead.
Yeah. But for fellow ICP enthusiasts who are down with the clown.
Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? I share their love of professional wrestling. They probably love it more than I do now, but you know, it's whatever.
Why so? Why would they like it more? It's
Because they started their own wrestling federation. They were on WWF and WCW television and TNA television.
The Juggalo Federation.
Multiple, yeah, well, no, Juggalo Championship Wrestling is a real thing, I promise. But yeah, and they had their own fucking. I'm pretty sure they had that backyard wrestling in Clown St. Posse was involved with that too.
Yeah, they were in the game. I don't know if they like were responsible for getting it off the ground or anything, but yeah, they were. I think they were in both of them.
Okay.
Hell yeah, dude! Fucking crazy ass juggalos.
Hey, Owen, we're about 8 minutes in. You want to go ahead and just say what the movie is first?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. So today's movie is Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
AKA Mad Max 3, AKA Thunderdome, AKA my dick.
Mad Max Thunderdome and Beyond, which was released in 1985. It's directed by George Miller, the same guy who directed the first two movies. And this
George.
one, Clooney.
No, there's another. He co-directed it with somebody. Somebody that was helping him with the movie.
Ogilvy or some shit. I don't know who this is.
Say the fucking name, Owen. Say it.
Ogilvy. Ogilvy. Whoever the fuck that is.
He's from Australia. I looked him up. He's an Australian director. George Miller. Is that the dude's name?
Yeah.
Okay. He said he doesn't remember much of the process because he was grieving. The guy who was his producing partner, who produced the first two Mad Max movies, died in a plane crash a couple years before this. Yeah. And so he's like, I gotta, move forward. So we, ended up making this movie, and the other George helped him out a lot. He just doesn't remember a lot because I guess, it was a painful time for him. I guess if you lose your best friend, that would fucking suck. Except if, Cody lost me, he'd be like, yeah, this albatross is off my neck. And all this shit. And all this shit. He goes, Owen, when the job opens up, it's yours. Come back. I'm saying like that. Lance is out of the picture.
I really want to make Happy Feet.
Yeah, that's so fucking weird that George Miller made Happy Feet.
Honestly, with the tone of this movie, it's like really not that far removed. Like, I don't know.
This movie has like it has poorly executed slapstick, in my opinion. And what it means to be fun, like this, the humor does not mix with this kind of setting. Versus like Road Warrior and the first Mad Max were pretty serious movies.
100%.
I've also had like the complaints about like the editing in these movies is really abrupt. It's really weird. But I guess I don't know what it is, man. I think I've
this
never
one's
watched
pretty
Happy
clean.
Feet or his other shit. Yeah, but there's still some shit in it. I'm just like, okay, this is George Miller.
Yeah, you'll have to
it's
tell
just something
me.
about. Yeah,
I felt like
about it I don't like.
I felt like this one was the most Hollywood kind of out of any of his shit.
Yeah, probably so. And fucking even Mel Gibson, like, I mean, he's a great actor. I'm not complaining about his acting in this movie. It's just like his character goes from like this fucking really cool badass in the second movie to like a farmer now, and he instantly you feel like, oh, okay, he has this really cool scene that establishes that he's still got these fighting skills, and he takes out those 5 people up in the Tina Turner's little brothel, and then he instantly, does something funny when like Blaster grabs him by the throat. He goes, like, "Do you want to do it?" He's like, or some stupid shit. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, it just seems
Yeah.
it's inconsistent.
As soon as Blaster's helmet came off, the film like took a nosedive.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even fucking like it up to that point. So I guess spoiler. I feel like spoiler already. I think all three of us had issues with this movie. So I guess I'll go over a little bit of my like preliminary background with this. I probably already went over it in the first two, but just to recap in case somebody's just watching this
I've
raw.
never seen the ending of this movie.
Yes. So around the time I was like kind of an early teenager, I was watching all the Mad Max movies. I watched the first one. I liked it, despite the fact that it's like an old B movie. I watched the second one. I really liked it. I was like, damn, this is cool. This is awesome. I got to watch the third one because it's probably going to be even cooler. And, I've heard about like Thunderdome and shit like that and Master Blaster. So I was like, okay, this one has like a lot of the cool shit in it as well. And I don't know. It just kept even the first half of this movie and its PG-13 like non-edge that it had. Like, I don't think Max directly kills anybody. I'm trying to think if he does. I don't think he like he fucking doesn't. He doesn't kill anybody in this movie. And all the kills are like, oops, like slapstick shit. Does
he not kill anybody when they're on the train at the end of being chased down?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He goes head on with one of the people in the big monster truck, but he jumps
and
off
they
the
live.
Truck. So I guess you could say that's I don't know if they live. I think that one.
He gives him the little middle finger at the end. I mean, maybe, but like fucking, they don't show him like crushed and dead. Like in Mad Max 2, they would have been like, okay, yeah, this guy's definitely dead. The worst thing
the one thing about Mad Max 2, I will say, I gotta jump in on this. Lord Humongous. All it is that fucking like his vehicle crashing with the train. You don't get any kind of like satisfaction of Max killing him with his bare hands.
Yeah. Well, he's Lord Humongous, dude. Lord Humongous is cool.
Yeah, he looks like my dick with a hockey mask on it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, did anybody else think? I'm sure Cody will agree with me if he looks this up. The little bald guy that's got the little feather and the mask hanging above his head. Didn't he look like a miniature version of David Drummond, Cody?
He kind of does, yeah. All he needs are those weird lip rings or whatever that hook down under his chin.
Yeah, I mean, like real quick, type in the bald guy from Mad Max 3 and then type in David Drummond. Like young David Drummond. They look, and what's fucking hilarious is that little bald guy is a heavy metal singer in Australia. He looks like an older David Drummond. It's fucking hilarious.
thought he was a woman at first.
No. You know what's real funny? It's like, and then that fucking, I don't know what you call him, the big fat cashier guy who's got strands of hair. He looks like fucking a overblown version of Alfred Hitchcock in the face. Like chubby cheeks, big nose, bald head and shit. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking Alfred Hitchcock is what I was thinking. I know Hitchcock was dead at this point, but I was like, Jesus Christ, did they do this job on purpose? This is what this fat ass look like. Now look him up in an older thing, and this is what his fat ass look like.
So I don't know if you guys want to kind of go over, I guess, your history with Mad Max.
Yeah, we can. It's going to be pretty short. Go ahead and send it to us.
Yeah. Go. So I'll just start with Lance.
This was the first time I ever watched this movie. I had heard of it, obviously, when you see commercials when they like showing Mad Max Road Warrior, Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome, and all that shit. And I think my dad owned it, but he never talked about it much. His favorite one of the three was the Road Warrior, which is part 2. So I never watched it. This movie has influenced 2 properties that have greatly influenced my life, which we'll touch on a little later on. So I do have this movie to thank for that. But yeah, I said the first time I watched it was just Cody.
Yeah,
Thank you, Cody. All right, Owen, back to you. I'm just
Yeah, this is my first time watching this movie too. I'd heard reference to the Thunderdome for years and years, and the way people talked about it, I thought it was like this incredible movie, and like the Thunderdome was like a main focus of it, and all this stuff. But,
Yeah. I mean, it's the best part of the movie, pretty much.
I think
you
you see the pig shit farm more than you do the fucking Thunderdome in this. So it's just like, I don't know, but yeah, this is my first time, and as far as the other Mad Maxes, my first time watching those was when we did those episodes. So
yeah, same here too. I had heard the Road Warrior a lot about that. Never really watched it. I saw Lord Humongous. I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't know if that inadvertently influenced Jason because I don't think that was their goal. If you listen to the people who created Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3, to have him look like Lord Humongous eventually. Because it was the same director and same producers in the first, in 2 and 3. So I don't think, and we'll be covering those eventually. But I don't think, I mean, Jason later on has little puffs of hair sticking out behind his head and a hockey mask. And the hockey mask that Lord Humongous wears is way different than the one Jason wears. But he's like a big bodybuilder.
yeah, I don't think it was.
And
I don't think it was a intentional an intent to make him like based on that character, because what I remember hearing is that the hockey mask was just used like when they were testing out different things, because they knew they didn't want to use the bag anymore, and they were testing out different things to have Jason wear, and they had him wear like a Detroit Red Wings mask or something, and they were just like, oh yeah, that's it,
That's right there too. But the Lord Humongous, the outside look, the straps over his chest, and the hockey mask influenced the entrance gear for Demolition, the WWF tag team, and they had face paint, obviously, like the people did. But mainly the team that they were, quote unquote, inspired from, the Road Warriors, took their name from Mad Max 2 and the fucking mohawk look and the leather and shit like that too. So Mad Max has had a huge influence on professional wrestling in general, which is pretty cool.
What a rush!
But this movie, and this people, a lot of, I think Owen has compared this movie a little bit to Return of the Jedi, because when he gets to the Ewoks, he's like just fucking over with
yeah, it's exactly like the. It's.
But no, here's the thing though. Like when you get to the Ewoks, yeah, they are prominent in the movie, but you still have the Vader, Luke stuff to keep you invested with the movie. It's all kids when the kids show up in this movie. There's nothing to keep you invested.
And a second complaint, so when I first watched this movie, I turned that shit off right as a kid because I was already getting pissed off by the goofy ass tone. Like, I liked Bartertown. It's a cool idea, and the set design is really cool, and so is the costuming. And of course, Master Blaster is like a really interesting character. There's a lot of interesting shit going on, but it's just like I did watch this after Mad Max 2, and it's like tonal whiplash. And again, with you, Lance, you said earlier, like Mel Gibson's character, Max, in the second movie, he's kind of like, this badass, right? I mean, like, yeah, he crashes his car and shit, and, he gets his ass kicked a little bit here and there, but, like, overall, he's still a pretty badass character. And this one, yeah, they turn him into, like, I don't know. There's parts of the movie where he's like a fucking, like, Three Stooges character. I don't know.
Which is funny because Mel Gibson is a real-life Three Stooges fan. He even produced the made-for-TV movie that they put on AMC for the Three Stooges that was biographical. Well, that's pretty cool. Like, but I just, and also in Lethal Weapon, if you guys remember, he had Three Stooges playing on the screen and shit like that. But the thing is, like, it doesn't make it's these movies. But what's really weird about these Mad Max movies is when people talk about them. And if you're a fan of these movies, I'm assuming you are a fan of these movies. Like, you love these movies, you love this character. For me, coming in as an outsider, I was thinking I was walking into some really, like, fantastical, like, cinema like gritty, fucking awesome shit, like grindhouse, like good shit. And I watch these movies, I'm like, yeah, they're okay. They really feel like something like made for TV. Like the quality of this movie, I know they probably spent good money on it, but the quality of these three movies is no different than like if I was watching the movie Duel again, and that was a made-for-TV movie by Steven Spielberg. And I would say that's a better movie. It's a different type of movie, but it's better made. Like this shit right here, I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck like is the big deal about these movies. Like Mad Max 2 came around, like okay, it's good.
Duel's well made, but I mean, like it's just the truck and the car, though. I mean, this one has
it's this one. I mean, the first like Mad Max 2 is just a guy in an army he's facing.
But they have all those custom-made vehicles and costuming and all those extras and shit, and the, like the little outposts that they have and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that Mad Max 2 was recorded on a crazy budget, but I mean, there's shit about it that's impressive.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about from the perspective of like how these movies are talked about, like they changed history, and I don't think the impact they made is that big.
Yeah, no, Mad Max isn't like, this isn't highbrow stuff. It's just an action flick. All three of them are pretty much just action flicks.
But this one actually had like the highest budget and brought in less money than the first one and less than half of what the second one brought in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like Mad Max 1 was made like on a shoestring fucking budget. Like, that one's probably a little bit more comparable to Duel. In terms of kind of what it does. But really what the influence of these movies, I guess, is really just in its world and, I mean, that's pretty much just it,
Well, I mean, also, like, again, it, like, the things I've touched on, like, we'll get into it when we get to the cage part. But, like I said, Mad Max 2 especially, and then obviously Mad Max 3 inspired a fucking match type that has been going on for over 30 years now. Almost 40 years, really. I think they introduced. Well, no, not the cage match.
Rage match.
No, the rape match. No, not Hell in a Cell. It's the War Games match, Cody. From WCW.
Oh. Yeah, I wish I had known another match that was in a cage to bring up.
Like obviously, cage match in wrestling is like the quote unquote final. Okay, this is where I guess Cody can go ahead and put this clip in after I've said this little spiel. Dusty Rhodes talking about it. A cage match in wrestling is like the final blow off to a feud to move into the next like phase, like the next opponent for you. Because storylines usually used to last for like months and months and months because wrestling wasn't on it wasn't prominently featured on television, but it had a TV presence. And the WWF, they had a chain link fence cage, and that's the same type of cage everybody's used. But in the WWF, to win the match, you had to escape through the door or over the top climbing over it. And Jim Ross has said on his podcast, Grillin' JR, that was a stipulation so they could save whoever's losing. Hey, I didn't get pinned, so it didn't make them look weak over last. And really, and like that's like I was surprised when I was watching like WCW and other product that they had pinfalls in wrestling in a cage because I didn't know that was like a thing. It was really weird. And then they had the big blue steel cage. Cody knows what I'm talking about, which is the blue steel bars that were easier to climb up but didn't really have much give. And that was for the heavier guys that used like King Kong Bundy and like Diesel and shit. But anyway, so that's WWF. Well, WCW, they had the cage match. And then Dusty Rhodes, as he puts in this clip, and this is where Cody will cut into it.
He said I was talking to sweet Sapphire. Woo.
Well, no, he does say it's funny. He goes, I went into the movies and saw my Tina Turner, my girlfriend, Tina Turner, in the Thunderdome. And talks about Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome. And he was trying to come up with a method because he would be teaming up with some partners and he would be facing Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. Would it always be a numbers game? So if it was a 6-man tag, there'd be a fourth guy that was able to gang up on them and shit like that. So he wanted to make it even. So he wanted to make a match. He watched this movie and got the idea of, how about we have 2 rings, a big steel cage that goes over both rings, and then he came up with the introduction process where you start off with 2 guys, and then one of the teams would have a coin flip, quote unquote, and that would give them the numbers advantage of who would be the next person go in. It was always the bad guys that win the coin flip. So it would be 2-on-1, and then it would be 2-on-2, and then 3-on-2 and nothing could happen until the final 4th guy came in. So there was 8 guys in the cage, and I think the only way to win the match originally was somebody had to just forfeit the match at that point, because all the bad guys will be bleeding in this match anyway. And usually it involved with the Road Warriors and shit like that. And you had a coked up Road Warrior Hawk who was just beating the piss out of everybody in the ring. And they were like, please, let's fucking end this. And I'm just making a joke, but it was true. They went on tours. They call it the Great American Bash Tours. So they would do this War Games match in multiple cities. And there's a VHS on YouTube video of the guys backstage and Hawk's over here doing fucking cocaine and shit like that. So it looks like Lex Luger's on fucking ecstasy or some shit like that. He's got his hands down his pants going, hi. And it's really fucking weird. And cool. Sting's there, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Road Warrior Animal and shit. So it's strange, but
Lex Luger is like, hey, Animal.
No. Lex has, if you like listen to Lex talk, he has kind of like, it's not a manly voice he has, but so that, like, the Thunderdome itself, inspired Dusty Rhodes to have this War Games match, and I'm pretty sure at some point they had a big cage, the kind of like Hell in the Cell before Hell in the Cell, that went around the ring, and they probably called it a Thunderdome at some point too, because movie rights weren't you could just take what you wanted to use and just use the name. But yeah, so this movie influenced that, and then Master Blaster was a straight up influence for a character in Mortal Kombat, or 2 characters in Mortal Kombat, called Ferrator. Farah is this little fucking hyena looking bitch that's on top of Tor, who's just a big brute that wears a mask. And in the storyline,
he also has Down syndrome.
I mean, well, he's a beast, but what happens was they age out, and then Tor dies, and then Farah grows up, and it's just like Tor, and they put a new Farah on top of the new Tor. So it's like a symbiotic relationship. Like, one dies, the other one grows up to be the same thing that one was, and there's a new kid that gets thrown on the shoulders. The Master Blaster is like this little 2'11" guy on top of what is a special needs individual, as we find out later on, and it's just like really fucking strong and shit. So, but yeah, so
Max is
this
like,
influence
I can't break my one rule. I don't kill people.
Yeah,
I will say, like, it was
like, this
goofy,
wasn't part of the deal. This wasn't part of the deal for me to kill this person.
And it's fucking funny, like, Mel Gibson in all of his other movies I've ever watched, he doesn't have much of an accent, but in these 3 movies, he has a little bit of an Australian accent because I knew he grew up there. Yeah. But he was like, this wasn't part of the deal.
Say, look here, mate. Look here, cunt. I'm not going to kill this bloke.
It's like, that was the deal, for you to kill Master Blaster. Or kill Blaster, I guess, because they wanted Master alive.
Yeah.
But no, he did.
Well, he's got his morals. Cody, he has his morals. This survivalist who lives in the desert has his morals. Okay.
10 seconds before, it's like, stop. He has the mind of a child.
Yeah. Yeah, stop.
Oh,
don't you see his face? It's not his fault. And it's like, dude, you sent him in there to fucking crush this guy's skull. Like, how the fuck can you sit there and be like, I mean, I get like... No,
but it does change shit, though. When I was watching it, I'm like, oh, shit. Because I was, like, looking at the cast, because a lot of these actors in this movie don't have, like, a Wikipedia page. And then I went to the Blaster part, and they just practically spoil all the characters, like, their outcomes in the casting on the Wikipedia page. And it says Blaster's intellectually challenged individual, and when he gets killed, I'm like, damn, what happened? So I'm watching this, and I thought it looked goofy, but it was kind of a cool scene when it zooms in on Gibson's eyes, and he gets all big, and he's got that fucking Shao Kahn sledgehammer above his head, and he's about to kill Blaster, and then you see the head, and it's just like, hey,
He's like,
Looks like Sloth from the Goonies.
it's so fucking like. I mean, that's just kind of cool. Because you got baby David Drummond, you got really fat Alfred Hitchcock, you got a special needs individual, and then you got the War Games match being influenced by this in Mortal Kombat. This movie's got such a weird, like, I don't know, like like I guess you could say the fat guy is the fat Alfred Hitchcock guy is a callback to Hitchcock, where this bald David Drummond is a call forward to Disturbed in like 15 years, and they get popular and shit.
They should
And
do
it's
the
just fucking
next.
funny.
The next Mad Max, they should have Disturbed in it, and he should go like, "Oh wow."
Well, fucking Miller said he had another story for Max, and they was going to have Mel Gibson star in it, but it got like developmental hell from like 97 to like 2005, and then so he was like, okay, that's not going to happen. And then I guess I don't know if Fury Road is a reboot or just even more into the future.
It's kind of like both. It's like, I mean, none of the Mad Max movies have necessarily any continuity really between them besides the character Max, and like his outfit fucking changes between the movies, and that's
he loses
pretty
the
much
car,
it.
like,
And that in
all
the
damn
car.
time.
But yeah, I
Even
forget in
in
the
the
second
Mad
movie he
Max-
loses it like
even
within
in the
like
Mad Max
15 minutes
video
of the
game,
movie,
like,
and
in
for
the
some
first,
reason I
like,
remember
20
it.
minutes of the game, you lose the car. It's like
You have to go get it back. You have to build your
Hey.
own car.
I'm just curious, Owen. Did I make the comparison when we watched Max? Because I'm sure I've had to. Like, this is kind of like the Man with No Name trilogy with Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he's just
Because he's
I
supposed
forget-
to be the same character, but not the same character. And
Yeah,
you see the
we-
same actors come back and reprise a different role throughout the movies, but
yeah. I forget where we
it's funny.
mentioned where George Miller got like the influence for that. And I don't remember what it was though. One of the previous episodes.
the guy, I think his character's name in this movie is Jebediah, the
Jebediah.
airplane flyer.
Yeah, he's the gyro captain.
Yeah, he's
Same
the gyro captain
actor.
in part 2. It's a different character, and for some reason, as I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking, oh, so he has a kid now. And then he attacks like, I didn't know if it was like some kind of like the thread of the story was just to get Max to barter.
Yeah, I thought it was
and
the
doing
same
that,
guy
but turns
too.
out he's just
Or I
a
thought it was the
completely
same
different
character. Like,
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, because like whenever they do like
It's the
whenever
same
they
actor,
get down
but,
into
same
like
character,
his home or whatever later on, and they're hiding his face behind the thing, I'm like, oh, is he gonna like reveal himself to be a character we know? And then when he shows his face, I'm like, oh, it's the guy from Mad Max 2, and it's like, oh no, it's not. It's just some.
I didn't even realize. Guess
You
I'm
have that
face
weird
blind.
disease where you can't see people's faces.
Yeah, I didn't remember that he was the same until after watching it and just kind of like looking through IMDb and shit. But yeah,
I've also talked about him. He's the guy that's one of the guys in Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, and that's the one where Ace is well, you see a picture of him on an overhead screen, and then Ace goes up and acts like he's picking his nose. He's like, and shit like that. So, and then there's another one. You hear his voice is like, "She's a beaut, ain't she?" I'm like, "Yeah, that dude's Australian."
He goes, "Oi, cunt, come here, mate. Come on."
I'm gonna cut those pussy lips off.
He's like, "You got fucking ciggy butt brain, mate. You got fucking ciggy butts all up in your brain." So with this movie, I know it's been a while since we watched the first two, and I can't exactly remember if you guys.
Sorry.
I know you guys had some issues with the second movie, but I don't remember if you guys overall enjoyed it or not.
I think I said I just didn't get it when we recorded the episode, and then by the time we recorded the next episode for the movie after, I had rewatched it and was like, you know what? I like this movie now. So I like the second one. The first one, I feel like from a narrative perspective, the first one has a better story that's more connected instead of just like disjointed.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, your thing was that you watched the first one first, and then I think you were hoping that the second one would build upon that story, but the second one's just like, nah, we don't care.
Like, here's a brief flashback, and then here's a lot of dudes' ass cheeks. You know, that's how the movie jumped in for part 2. And then this movie, it's like there's a lot of women that look like dudes and a lot of dudes' ass cheeks. But here's Tina Turner, and you can pretty much be sure she's a woman. So go ahead and get the lotion out. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Beat your fucking meaty. What about you, Cody?
No,
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I really don't remember what I said in the moment when we recorded those. I feel like
goo goo gaga, goo 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 goo.
He was a baby.
I feel like I enjoyed Mad Max 2 more than the first one because maybe thinking back on it, maybe Mad Max 1 just had too slow of a pace or something. I can't remember, but I do think I enjoyed the second one a lot more. But this one by far is the worst one in the out of the three.
Dude, here's the thing. This is some people. Let me read this to you. This is fucking weird, man. Because I was thinking, like, man, this kind of fucking, like, I was cool with it until the Thunderdome ended. And then, I guess really we're... Well, the kids show up, but before that, when the horse dies and the horse gets absorbed into the sand, it's like, okay, it's kind of sad.
This horse gets
this
sucked.
movie has... I'm going to read this phrase to you real quick. Hold on.
All right.
Let me read this first sentence to you, okay, on Wikipedia. Critical reaction to this film was generally positive, although reviewers disagreed over whether this film to be the highest or lowest point of the Mad Max trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, and who's God Green Earth was going to sit there and say, this is the highest point of the trilogy? No!
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen videos of people where they bring this up just like in passing or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Thunderdome is my favorite one," and it's like
it has an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes.
On IMDb, it's kind of low. It's like 6 or something. You have a lot of people that have kind of the same. I think this movie's really a love it or to hate it thing. It's funny because, like I said earlier, the first time I watched this, I fucking hated this movie. I was like, dude, I've been betrayed. But the second time I go around, I'm still going to say some negative things about this movie because I have issues with it. But on the second watch, I've softened up a little bit. And I still fucking cannot stand the kids. And another big issue I have, and I don't know if you guys had this issue too, because I don't know how much you guys remember Mad Max 2, but the second half of this movie is just Mad Max 2. I don't know if you guys remember. So
yeah, but it's instead of it being another band of rebels, it's just kids.
Yeah. Instead of being the guys at the little oil foundry, it's just Mad Max 2, but with kids.
Can I read one more thing to you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, real quick. Okay, on the review aggregator website, Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds 81% approval rating based on 54 reviews and an average score of 6.5. The website's critic consensus reads, quote unquote, Beyond Thunderdome deepens the Mad Max character without sacrificing the amazing vehicle choreography and stunts that made the originals memorable. There is nothing about Mad Max's character that deepens in this fucking movie. I would say he has the least amount of fucking character in this movie of the three. This movie fucking sucks, man. I ain't
going back to what Owen was saying about the ending being compared to Mad Max 2, or comparing it that way. I think that I see where you're coming from, but at least in Mad Max 2, it felt like the main antagonist was actually dealt with, whereas this, it feels like, we just escaped the problem, right?
Yeah. Tina Turner just gives up, basically. She's like, fuck it. Okay.
Yeah. So
fuck it.
She's like, whatever.
She's like, I've been out in the heat too long. I gotta go back to my awesome apartment that I have over Bartertown or whatever.
Look, no more, no, no jokes. I ain't making no jokes, man. I'm older and I'm better because.
What if instead of the Road Warrior was the Roadhead Warrior and he like sucks people off on the road?
Oh, God, like there's one character I wish that was consistent in Mad Max is the Warrior Woman from Part 2. That chick, the blonde hair was
she
hot.
died like with no fanfare.
Yeah, I know it kind of sucked. I'm like, man, she's kind of hot. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like,
Yeah. I was thinking about it, and I mean that's honestly something that I kind of like about Mad Max 2 is that it's really it can be kind of brutal with some of the character deaths. Or not brutal, but it can be kind of like with little to no fanfare. It's like, okay, this person's fucking dead. It kind of really sells the whole like post-apocalypse setting.
Right, my name is Mud.
Yeah, it says, "Oh, we're covered in mud." That's one of the things about this movie is it kind of so in the first two movies, this movie like kind of what the fuck is the word I'm looking for? It advances the timeline of the kind of post-apocalypse of the all three trilogy movies. So between Mad Max 2 and 3, there was actually like a nuclear apocalypse. Like they dropped nukes, and that's part of the backstory.
Wait, I thought I did. So that happens between 2 and 3.
Yeah. 2. So in 1, society's going to shit because of an oil crisis.
Yeah,
But it hasn't completely gone to shit. There's still like a government and stuff. Then between 1 and 2, as the story goes, I forget the exact details, but somehow society has gotten even more worse. Nothing has gotten better. Most governments are completely fractured, and everybody's like kind of living, like either as raiders or, just survivalists.
and there's no water anywhere, right?
Yeah. There's a kind of a water shortage and stuff. But I think that's more played in this movie than in the second one.
Yeah, well,
but there is,
of
course, a gas shortage, though.
Yeah, and he walks up to the water salesman at the beginning of this one, and he's like, "You want some water?" And he's like, he scans it or whatever, and that the Geiger counter is going crazy. Like, ain't nothing wrong with the little Fallout.
And he goes, "There's nothing wrong with a little Fallout 4 for the PlayStation 5."
And then he got done with that. He was like, "My name is Mud."
Sponsored by Bethesda.
Like, well, we all sold out of the Fallout 76.
But you can have Fallout 3 for free. But yeah, in this one, between the two movies, nuclear apocalypse has happened. And that's why the world is kind of even shittier. And, there's no oil anywhere. Like, which...
I mean, man, it feels like part 2 was already this shitty.
Yeah.
Like, I think the nuclear shit happened between 1 and 2. I don't think... Because they didn't say anything like it, because he's already farming in part 3. If a nuclear shit had happened where he was at, he wouldn't be farming.
Who's
Not
farming?
necessarily. I mean...
I don't think so.
So
Max was farming.
It depends on... it depends on where the bombs would have been dropped, right? Like, and how
Pearl
much.
Harbor.
I mean, because even if...
Johnny's just like, I can't believe that there.
even if they drop the bombs like if somewhere far away, yeah, some of the nuclear fallout would eventually like creep its way to where you're at, depending on the intensity and everything. But I think I don't even know what the hell what would he be farming? Is he a farmer?
He farms weed, bro.
I mean, because there's
I
no
thought it was a
water, so
farmer
what do you?
thing, but
Lance, what are you? When does he farm in this?
I thought he was just like
I
I got the impression like he was just like
oh wait, never mind. He's
some kind of
dude. This movie's not clear. He was just crossing the desert with a motor vehicle being pulled by camels.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
is
I
that motor vehicle? Is that his car from the second movie?
yeah. That's the black on black. His sports car from the first and second movie, the black Ford
You're fucking
Falcon.
with me, aren't you?
then unfortunately he never got
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
One second. Are you fucking with me, Owen?
What'd you say, Lance?
Are you fucking with me?
No, that's the same car. The car that he's riding in the beginning of this movie, that attached to the camels. That's the same car.
That's the car from one. That has no fanfare. Like,
Yeah.
Like you would think at the third movie there would be some kind of resonance to it, but no, it's not. It even says on the plot on here that it's just a motor vehicle, not the motor vehicle.
No, I'm pretty sure
it doesn't matter because it seems like every Mad Max story aside from the first one is like I've got to find a car. So
Yeah. The first one's really the only one that kind of. I mean, the second one and third one, it's like they're like, okay, we'll put the same car in because it looks cool, but then they're just like, fuck it, blow it up. The first one's really the only one that, like, at the end, they're like, and then Max gets the badass black car, and he's not fucking around now. But all the other ones are like, yeah, fuck that car. The only other, like, property that, even Fury Road does it. In Fury Road, he has the, same ass car in the beginning, and then he totals it. It gets, like, blown up. The only other thing that holds it. The only other thing that, like, holds it in reverence is the game. And you have to, like, unlock it, like, after you beat the game. So.
Yeah, because it gets stolen in that one, right? If I remember right. And
By
so, like, the whole point is he wants to get it back, but he has to build his own car, which doesn't make any sense because theoretically, with all the stuff you do to build the new car, it's probably better than that one anyway. So
I think that is how it is.
It's not the same car, though. I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's not. According to Mad Max Wiki, it's in Mad Max 2, and then Mad Max Fury Road. That's supposed to be the same car.
I'm talking about your Fury Road. What's that fucking song where he's like, I'm in love with the something rose. It's like this shitty, like, butt rock song.
Oh, I thought you were going to go, I'm in love with a stripper.
She riding, she rolling. But, yeah, that's the kid. I didn't know that. I thought it was the same car, but, I mean, I guess that makes more sense that it's not, because it already got blowed up. So, fuck it.
Blowed up.
It got blowed up real good.
He got the cam on the back, man. Shit. Hell.
Well, boy, I tell you what, that car, it got blown all to hell.
I had some more shit. I forgot what I was going to say, but it was going to be something. Yeah, the kids in this movie are fucking annoying. I hate this stupid, like, it's just like a kind of a ripoff of, like, Peter Pan. Some Lord of the Flies type shit.
Lord of the Flies was where my mind went. But
yeah, especially with the plane crash.
Like, and to me, like, even the beginning isn't really great, but it's like, okay, let's see where this goes, right? Like, there's enough here to, like, get you to grab me. But then once it's like the blaster's helmet comes off and he's like, I can't kill this man. And then he goes and he gets saved by the kids. Well, and like the horse thing, Lance brought it up earlier. To me, like, yeah, the horse dying is sad, but it's also like, what a fucking waste of a resource. Like,
yeah,
it ain't like
I thought
you're gonna
that
be
too.
finding a bunch of horses everywhere.
I thought that too. I was like, why the fuck would they waste a horse on him? Like, why wouldn't they just send him out to walk?
Yeah, and then like the kid stuff is just like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Like, it's just so boring past that point.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it just, I mean, and so Cody, the things you liked about the first part, what are the things in the first part? So a lot of people, I've heard this sentiment a lot that like, oh, the first part's great, but then once the kids get in, it turns to shit. What are the things about the first part that you did not like?
That I didn't like?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't like that when they start off fighting in the Thunderdome, they're on like bungee cords or whatever. Yeah.
I think it's interesting, like visually interesting, but I do think it can be a little bit goofy. But on the other hand,
I think too much of it too in that first part takes place in the pig farm. Or the pig shit farm, technically, because that's what they're farming. So, like, but I thought it was intriguing with the whole, like, okay, there's, like, some kind of, like, power struggle here going on in Bartertown between Tina Turner's character and Master Blaster. And, like, the whole, like, setup, and they're, like, kind of like, oh, yeah, you got to fight him in the Thunderdome and all this, and it's to the death, and all that, and it's like, oh, okay, so this is like interesting, like world building for Mad Max, and then, yeah, again, it just all gets flushed down the toilet.
Yep, with the kids, the fun little kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think earlier, and I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I know Lance kind of said something about, we mentioned the tone being kind of goofy in parts. And one of the most egregious examples I can think of kind of the tone being like fucked is so there's this one scene where Max goes back out to the desert to find the kids that ran away from the like little encampment in the oasis, basically. And as he finds them, they're trying to get a kid back. Like a kid is slipping into this kind of sand pit, and they're trying to get him out, but they're ultimately unsuccessful. He falls into the sand pit, and they're like, "Oh God, we can't get him out." And then the next fucking scene, like, they play some like whimsical music as they find, as they see in the distance Bartertown, like the lights of Bartertown. It plays this like whimsical, like goofy ass music, and I'm like, dude, like literally a scene ago, a kid just fucking died. And, like, I don't know, it's like total whiplash to me. I don't know if any of you guys like felt that.
It's because George Miller was
There's a
like,
deleted scene in this movie where one of the characters does die, and then you don't see him at the end of the movie. I don't know what character it would be. I really don't care to look it up, to be honest with you. I really on Wikipedia, but
well, like
George
I said,
Miller,
like
George Miller was just like, fuck them kids.
yeah, he was like, this will be funny.
Michael Jordan meme. He's like, he's like, fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids. But yeah, I don't know. There's that, and then there's the torturing. When they torture Master and they just like put him in between a bunch of pigs, like it's the worst thing ever. And he's just getting like tugged by pigs.
Yeah, he's just getting gently nudged around by these pigs. Like, oh, you better bring him back up. We want him to
like,
get
don't
nudged
kill
to
him.
death.
Don't kill him.
I do think there's a part where, like, I think it's supposed to be like more vicious, but the pigs are like, he looks just like us.
Oh yeah, the whole intent was like we're gonna lower him down there and the pigs are gonna eat him alive. But like when they show it so much
pigs,
on camera,
not boars.
Yeah, when they show it so much on camera, it's like they're just nudging him around. It's like these are well-fed pigs. Why would they need to eat a human being? You know.
The worst part of that was probably that in that scene, it probably actually did smell like pig shit, and there's probably pig shit all over the floor with all those pigs.
I bet you those pigs were part of like a slaughterhouse that was eventually going to get killed anyway in real life.
Perhaps. It is perhaps. Damn, what else is there to say about this movie? I mean, there's things I liked about it. Like I said earlier, I like the, world building. I like the idea of Bartertown. I thought it was cool. And I do like to see more of Max and just kind of his journey, I guess. But, and I guess I liked the vehicles like that they made at the end. Those are cool. Like just the one that's like the cowboy vehicle where it's like all got fucking like cow print all over it.
I like the mini David Drummond is on that big railroad cart and he's just pumping and he's like,
yeah, that was honestly like the one part where it's like it got goofy and it was okay because that was actually funny.
Well, to me, it's like how in the world is he possibly keeping up with all these?
Yeah,
it's just his sheer vehicle is going full speed.
It's his sheer will, dude. See, that's something that I think would like probably fit even in like one of the older ones. Like, just this dude on the fucking push cart, like keeping up with like these fucking buggies with like V8 engines.
You know what? It would have been even funnier if they showed that scene and when it shows him yelling, it's just him going, "Oh my!"
Yeah.
Remember the one bad guy with the mohawk in part 2? I can't remember his name, but he's played by the guy.
Wes, I think is his name.
He's he's no, he's not a wrestler. He plays in Commando. That's the movie you didn't watch. But he's like, no. It's like that's all his only lines are in this movie. Him going. The bad people don't have a lot of like fucking like. It's fucking hilarious, dude.
I think Tina Turner has the most dialogue in the film.
Yeah, probably. And there's no action with her. It's like I don't know. There was no payoff. She's like, "Aren't we a pair?" So I literally thought at that point she was gonna grab him and take him back to her place and fuck him. But she was like, "See you later, soldier." And then I was like, "Okay." I was what? Okay, but I get the whole like, it's a full circle moment. They fly those kids to the destroyed city of Sydney, Australia, and they're trying to rebuild their own civilization, and they're trying to attract people that are lost out there in the world, and they are obviously wanting Max to come back, but he's obviously like walking in the wrong direction because this is a Three Stooges movie. But it's a full circle. Like the first Max, everything's normal. This is before the post-apocalyptic shit, and now this is them trying to finally rebuild a proper city with like hope and love and shit. So I get that part, but golly damn, man, it was a drag to watch this movie. Like the first Mad Max movie was 93 minutes. So like, oh, okay, cool. And this movie's about like an hour and 45, but that shit drug. Like especially after you kill Blaster, it's like, oh, and then the fucking horse dies, and I'm like, it's kind of, I hate the horse like dying and shit like that.
Horses.
And then you got these kids, like that one little girl who could not be more than 12 years old is not dragging Mel Gibson's body halfway across the desert to get back to the oasis and be like, oh,
and what about the monkey?
Shit like that.
It's like, hey, monkey, take this water out there so you can maybe find Max. It's like, how do you even know that's going to work?
Did Max have that monkey in part 2? I can't remember.
That monkey is a unique, original character to this film.
Original character, okay.
The monkey.
The monkey's like, I found you, Max, but I drank all the water. Sorry.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, bud.
It took me a while to find you out here in the desert. It's not like I have a GPS tracker and I'm a monkey. It's not like I'm known very well for my smelling ability to find you.
I literally took the opening of this water bottle, Max, and I fucked it because I'm a monkey and that's what I do.
It's just like monkey
enjoy
shit.
enjoy this salty ass fucking milky ass water, Max.
He like opens it and when he pours it out on his mouth, it's like just like fucking nut.
It's like the video of the chimpanzee and the frog.
Oh yeah, we're just fucking the frog and
hey, it's fucking the monkey. After Max drinks the water, the monkey goes down and in his monkey language is like, "You're my bitch now."
He said, oh, "I'm the monkey." He said,
"Oh." He's like, "Look at me, I'm the monkey now."
I'm the monkey now. He takes his jacket and he fucking takes his car, and the monkey's driving away. He's Mad Max. That'd be cool. Oh man, I don't know. I'm all tapped out on this movie. There's not really much else you could say.
Like I said, it just, I don't know. From like a story perspective, I was not invested in this movie whatsoever. Because I literally thought, oh, there's some continuity. You got the gyro pilot guy from the second movie is in it, and he's got a kid now. Turns out it's a completely different character. I thought, like, oh, there's a way of connecting it. Why is he fucking with Max? Like, I was like, haha, I got your stuff now just to fuck with him. Yeah. But, like, this movie is just fucking, it's bad. Alex told me, he goes, I've never seen the third one. I go, yeah, watch the first 45 minutes and then turn it off. And he goes, is it that bad? I go, yeah, you're not going to, like, gain anything in your life watching this. Yeah. So, and it's kind of annoying. Nothing against those kid actors. Like, they did what they could, but I don't know. This is like the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi, but if, like, somebody who was drunk was, like, directing it, like, because the Ewoks, as a kid, I enjoyed that. I still enjoy the Ewoks. I don't have a problem with them. If I watch this movie as a kid watching it, I wouldn't like these kids. I'm like, this kind of sucks. Like,
yeah,
shit like that. So it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know. I wish I had a better overall impression of these movies. Like, the second one's probably the best one, like from an action perspective. The first one's the best one of story perspective, and this one, there's no best of anything. Other than, like, celebrity impressions, David Drummond as a child, even bald, a overweight Alfred Hitchcock, and the War Games match, and Ferrator. That's the only thing we got from it, really. It didn't need to exist, it felt like.
Alfred Hitchcock, but he's Alfred Bitchcock.
Music to be murdered by.
Yeah, overall, I think my opinion of this is like, I know some people like it because it's like, Mad Max 2, but there's added elements kind of to it and a little bit more going
It's
on.
Mad Max 2, but they're cute and cuddly.
Yeah, but there's kids. But exactly, I think the things that are added in this movie aren't. I don't know. They don't add much. It's not. The shit they add isn't interesting.
They should have had a
agree with
scene
you.
toward the end where they sneak back into Bartertown, and Max is being chased by Tina Turner and like the two bald guys that are like her lackeys, and it's playing like the.
They should have had a scene where they go back to the brothel and they all fuck. That's the end. There we go. Cody, do you have any?
Blaster's dead body.
Do you have any overall kind of, I guess, conclusion to make?
We need to spread this out a little bit too. This episode's only an hour long so far.
Hey.
I'm like, we gotta
it's-
have at least an hour and 15, at least.
I mean,
Well,
if we need,
we'll also talk about our upcoming stuff. I mean,
yeah,
I got this growth on my dick I need to talk about with you guys
yeah, we need to get that surgically removed with our teeth.
right now, like
God.
live on air. Ah!
I mean,
And
we
then
can.
we play a clip of that guy. Do what?
We can try and spread it. I already knew that
Oh
this
no,
movie.
no, I don't want to get my dick put on air. I was just kidding.
You can spread your
Fucking
pee hole and look inside of it.
And then we play that clip, Owen, of that guy going, and he moaned this loud.
Oh.
Oh! I gotta get the clip for this episode.
I thought that was like a Tim and Eric sketch when I first saw it, but I was surprised that it's like a real fucking thing. It's like a
He interviewed on 60 Minutes.
he moaned this loud. Oh.
I gotta download it. It's only like 5 seconds long, but Cody's gotta put in this episode. Yeah, Cody, what's your opinion of this movie, sir?
what?
What?
What's your-
We're doing a
what's your
podcast, Cody.
What's your conclusion? What are your closing
Come on,
statement?
boy. We're talking to you. We sent you a segue. Come on, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, my conclusion is this movie kind of sucks. So then don't watch it.
I'll just sneeze.
It's not worth your time. So it's easily, unless you just enjoy watching a grown man frolic around the desert with a bunch of kids for half the film.
Hey, get off that plane, mate. Come on here.
How many times do I have to tell you?
Get the fuck down off that plane, cunt.
Hey, you know what's really funny? I didn't think about this until right now. That scene where they get to the end of the railroad and the kid's like, "Stick 'em up! You're all dead meat!" And he goes, "We're all dead meat!" And he runs into the car and climbs down that really long flight of ladder. How does the guy who got stabbed to the leg, who's being carried by the kids, climb down that fucking ladder with him?
We
They just
got it.
drop him.
Yeah, they lower him down gently, dude.
Now I wonder if he actually dies though. Is that the character? I don't remember seeing him
No,
anymore.
he lives because he's in the last scene where the plane's taking off and he looks outside the little door.
Yeah, but
Okay,
to
yeah.
get him down that
So-
ladder, they just toss his ass down the hole.
Breaks his
Whee!
leg in fucking 3 places.
He's like, "Oh, I was already stabbed. I need to get rid of this leg anyway, guys."
Yeah, he's like, oh, I wasn't using it anyway.
You know what? You know what? If we cut it off in time, we could even just eat it.
Ugh.
Yeah. They
I like
end
how
up
he had the fucking pink like outline of his eyes because he's been around shit for so long.
yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah,
He's got pink eye.
fucking. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a nice touch when you.
Yeah, there's a lot in this movie where there's like little small touches and shit like that. One of the things I think I learned just as a little trivia thing is I guess what George Miller does is he'll let his extras kind of like come up with a backstory for their characters. So that's why you get such like a weird, colorful cast of like even inconsequential characters like look interesting and like sometimes have like little interesting character moments and stuff.
I wonder if he did that for the Penguins and Happy Feet.
Yeah, they all picked their own backstory. They said, I'm a penguin, and I'm also a penguin.
And I'm a penguin. But I'm a noir detective.
Yeah, see?
It's hot out here on these icy sheets.
The icy sheets. The cold Antarctic water hit my face like a freight train. It was 4 a.m.
Hey, real
And the
quick
one
before
thing
we
I could
move
think
on.
about was Sarah.
Do we recommend this movie? Because I sure as fuck don't.
Man,
No.
that's my opinion, man. It's whatever.
Like, it does. If you end on Mad Max 2, you end at a high point, and you're not missing anything. Like that whole thing is like this deepens Max's character. I'm like, dude, Max had character growth from part 1 to part 2. This was like. He's not sad like he should be. Like I figured he would be a character that's like still sad that he lost his family and shit, but now he's over here going what? And shit like that.
Well,
In
when
the
you don't have
movie's
a lot of
defense-
water to drink,
In the
when you
movie's
don't have a lot of
defense-
water to drink, and you're out in the sun being baked all day, your brain starts to get a little fried. So he probably doesn't even remember.
Yeah, he's losing
Well,
his
then he ends
fucking
up
marbles.
drinking. He ends up drinking a monkey nut. He's like,
Monkey cum. He goes, I want some more. He's like,
I want
he's
some
like, what'd you
more."
put in that? Yeah, he does fucking solid snake or naked snake. I want some more. He's like, pretty tasty.
Metal Gear.
He calls paramedic, and paramedic's like, she's like, Max, what you drink is monkey nut. It's produced from the testes of a small monkey. He's like, so, can you eat it? Snake, you shouldn't eat monkey semen. He's like, but does it taste good?
But does it taste good?
Sounds pretty tasty.
That's
The
not
guy,
good.
she's like, the guide says it's a salty, slimy texture.
What would the boss? What would the boss do?
Well, yeah. Like Ocelot sees him eating the cum, and Ocelot in the next scene is just like covered in nut. He's like sucking it down. He's like, this is what a real soldier does.
Oh god. All right. Real quick. Not real quick. Let's draw it out a little bit. Cody, your next movie is what again?
Mars Attacks.
Is that the one with Jack Nicholson?
Yes. It's got Jack
Okay, so at least
Nicholson.
we'll have
it's
something entertaining to watch.
Jack Black.
It's got. This is like fucking what Jack Black's like first movie, right? Or one of his
Yeah,
first.
I think so. Like this is like before he was like anyone knew who he was.
He said the Kyle
Well, you
Gass Project.
You got Jack Black and you got Jack Nicholson. It's like Mars Attacks Jacks.
Yeah, so it's got Jack Nicholson, Jack Black, Danny DeVito, Pierce Brosnan, Martin Short, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michael J. Fox, Pam Grier, Rob Steiger, Natalie
Holy
Portman, Jim Brown, the football player. Yeah, it's got like a crazy freaking cast in it. So
Got O.J. Simpson.
OJ's not in that movie.
Rest in peace, O.J.
Hey, you
At
laugh.
at least-
eventually I am gonna cover the Naked Gun movies with those.
At least O.J. Simpson took his wife's murderer with him.
Oh man, social media that day was like just on fire with all the damn jokes.
I remember when I saw it, I was like, no way. He's fucking dead.
Oh man.
He said, if the casket doesn't fit, you must quit. He fucking comes back to life.
Oh, I'm alive! They bought the wrong casket.
He like holds up the casket, looks at the fucking crowd. He's like, doesn't fit.
They're trying to get his legs in there. His legs are all bunched up. Sorry, it doesn't fit.
Yeah, he forgot to take his fucking like medicine that reduces swelling before he
They
died.
didn't embalm him. They just threw him in the casket.
Yeah.
Well, the movie After Mars Attacks will be the start of a long journey. When I mean journey, I mean so every 6 weeks. So that's
I think we
month
calculated
and
it
a
would
half.
take a whole year.
Yeah, probably. I'll have some breaks in between because I said we got the Venom movie coming out in a couple months and Mortal Kombat at some point. So I'm gonna have to. I want to cover those, but I'm gonna be covering Friday the 13th. Now the good news is we've already covered the second worst Friday the 13th movie, already, and that's the first one. I remember Owen saying that it just kind of sucked. He said some of the kills were cool, but that movie just there was nothing special about it, and I 100% agree.
Yeah.
But this is when the shit hits the fan and it turns real, and you actually get Jason.
Where's the one where
So-
they're like fucking in the tent and the girl has like her titties out and stuff and she gets like
And then she
stabbed
gets
through the
sliced in half.
titties?
That's the worst movie of the franchise. Jason Goes to Hell.
That's
But
the
it's
best
not
part
the
of
worst
the movie.
because of that scene. Yeah, it's not because of that scene. I mean, that scene's great, but it's the worst movie in the franchise. Like, I hate that movie with a passion. I'd watch Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome before I'd watch that movie again. But I'm gonna have to watch that movie again. So,
Beyond Thunder
You know.
Chode.
and Jason looks like a chode in that movie. Yeah. So yeah, Friday the 13th Part 2 After Mars Attacks. So, pretty excited, and I think for Friday the 13th final chapter, which is Part 4, we might have a guest host, which is gonna be like, I don't know at this point, like 4 months down the road, maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Other than that, so how would you guys rank the Mad Max movies?
Yeah, I guess we've seen the original trilogy, so that's a pretty good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it'd be 2, 1, 3.
Owen?
Yeah, probably the same for me. 2, 1, 3.
I'd go 1, 2, 3, just in order. Just I like the story apart the first one. Again, this goes into like the Godfather. Like Owen really loves Godfather 2, and I'm like, I could really do without that movie. I love the first Godfather.
You said.
What if you just put that? What if you put that intro music and then transition right into Mad Max?
That's how we should close with the Godfather theme.
Hey, I'll get the clips downloaded. I've already got one for Cody, and I'm gonna get the other two. It's definitely gonna be the guy going, and then it's gonna be the Godfather 2 thing. So
I'm the Godfather. Man, they call me the motherfucking Godfather. You know why, man? Shit. It's because I got all these bitches.
I guess he's a professional wrestler, and he has a bunch of bitches.
And I'm the bitch, man. Shit.
There was a meme. Cody will get this. I know Owen probably doesn't know who Hacksaw Jim Duggan is.
Hey-o.
There was a painting, and it's Dutch's arm and Carl Weathers' arm in Predator when they're doing the handshake, you know. But it's a painting of it, and on one side it says The Godfather, the other side says Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and in the middle it says Ho. That's fucking great, dude. I'm like, yeah, Owen, you want to sign us off, good sir?
Yeah. So that was another fantastic episode of the Filmoscopy Podcast. Thank you for listening. Be sure to follow our asses on Twitter and send us copious amounts of money. And also,
So go ahead now.
Yeah.
Wire us some money. We also are on YouTube. So if you don't follow us on Spotify, do us a favor. Follow us on Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating. Follow us on YouTube. And like our videos. You don't have to watch them. That's fine. Just like them. It will help promote the podcast just a little bit. So, yeah. Go ahead and do that. And, Cody, you want to say anything last?
I want some more.
I want some more monkey nut.
I was told by a loyal listener of the show, hi Sarah, that I have to finish every episode with finish him. So, Owen, do you want to say anything else?
No.
Okay. Yeah, like I said,
See
follow
ya.
us on social media, everybody. Filmoscopy Podcast. If you just Google us, we'll fucking pop up. I promise you, we're the first thing that shows up. We're the only person that's got this fucking name. So, yeah. Other than that, thanks for listening, and finish him.
We were in anticipation. All right.